Have you ever just wanted a little time to yourself and it turned into a whole mess? Rhaenyra won't be forgetting that night anytime soon. Rhaenyra really made a mess this week, and let's start there. My favorite line this week was the absolute lie Rhaenyra told straight to Alicent's face. Daemon never touched me. Okay, I swear this to you upon the memory of my mother. Swearing on your dead mother, Rhaenyra? Yeah, her relationship with Alicent is going to remain strained, to say the least. Just when it looked like they might be able to become friends again. Episode 4 basically showed us that almost no one can be happy in Westeros. You're either in some low station struggling to either survive or not lose what little you have, or you're in a high station and you hate almost everything that comes along with it. Daemon comes back to King's Landing because he didn't want to live alone out on Dragonstone. He thrives amongst the city life, the people, the chaos, and the drama he can create. Kneeling before his brother to show respect and reverence for their positions is exactly what Viserys wanted and needed. Daemon knew Viserys needed him to reassure everyone in attendance that he was a vassal of the king and wasn't acting on his own accord. It almost doesn't matter if either one of them believed it in the moment. The show needed to be put on. Meanwhile, Rhaenyra was doing the thing that she's been known to do, which is shirking her responsibilities. She's allowed to choose the man she will marry. She goes on tour and men line up to offer themselves to her. She complains about this as well and cuts the tour short. As an aside, it was hilarious to watch the kid kill the guy who was bullying him, as he attempted to take his chance at Rhaenyra. He got what he deserved in my opinion. After her return to King's Landing, Rhaenyra and Alicent have a conversation about marriage. Alicent envies the position Rhaenyra is in, being allowed to choose from multiple men seeking to marry her, while Rhaenyra doesn't feel it's her at all they want, but her status they want to marry. Not only that, but Rhaenyra simply does not want to become a wife and to be forced into bearing children constantly until it kills her. She makes this point to Daemon later, but the sentiment is still there when talking to Alicent. She understands while she's speaking about it that it's the exact position Alicent is actually in. We even see it later. Alicent is summoned to the king's bedchamber to perform her wifely duty. She goes, lies there, and does what she's bid to do. Alicent is queen of the Seven Kingdoms and seems less happy than she's ever been. Now we know from Game of Thrones that she could say no to Viserys. She could not spend any nights in his bed. She could say no until he stops asking and just begins bedding whores. Alicent, for better or worse, actually wants to be a good wife. She tries to be caring and supportive of Viserys. She listens and gives genuine advice without overtly attempting to manipulate him. I'm not saying the latter will remain. That, and when he wants her in his bed, she goes to him, regardless of her disinterest. Are we supposed to feel sorry for Alicent? I do. She doesn't even have any friends, which is why she wants to mend her relationship with Rhaenyra so badly. Oh, the rage she's going to feel when she learns that Rhaenyra looked directly in her eyes and lied to her. This leads to the crux of the episode. Daemon sneaks Rhaenyra out of the castle and they spend part of the night with all sorts of common folk. They go wandering the streets, drinking, watching plays, and visiting pleasure houses. It feels like Daemon is trying to do multiple things at once, attempting to help give Rhaenyra a sense of freedom she has been longing for a while, and at the same time he wants Rhaenyra for himself. Whether this is only a political desire, as Viserys later accuses it of being, I'm not sure. I believe Daemon truly does care for Rhaenyra and sexually desires her. The political motivation does also make sense for Daemon as well. Rhaenyra absolutely wants Daemon. That's been clear and is made even more so down in the depths of the pleasure house. There are going to be different opinions on why Daemon leaves Rhaenyra alone down there. It could be it was a line he wasn't ready to cross. It could be he actually cares for Rhaenyra and didn't want it to happen for the first time that way with her. Some may think it's because he actually couldn't sexually perform. These are Targaryens. They both know their family history and are drawn to each other by it. They feel the connection between them is right. That being said, Daemon leaving Rhaenyra in the state he did led to what happened when she got back to the castle. We all knew from episode 1 Rhaenyra was attracted to Sir Criston Cole. She's been drinking, she's in a lustful state, and she likes her bodyguard. She does exactly what Daemon just taught her. She takes what she wants. Two things here. One, I really like that the show spent so much time on disrobing the two of them. Sir Criston Cole is wearing a full suit of armor. Even with assistance, that takes some time to get out of, and it's not exactly the easiest thing to do. Does anyone else remember Ply trying to help Brienne out of her armor? I just thought it was a nice touch to show no matter how in the moment these two were, stripping down could be a tall task in their world. This also leads to the second thing. Sir Criston Cole, while some would argue was in the right place at the right time, was actually in a damned if you do, damned if you don't position. We may know the character of Rhaenyra and believe she wouldn't do anything spiteful towards Criston if he said no, but is that a risk he can take? She's the princess and the heir. He is a member of the Kingsguard appointed by her. On one hand, if he says yes, as he does, he opens himself up to several possibilities. He doesn't know Rhaenyra's father, Viserys, will have a Plan B tea sent to her room in case she was impregnated. If anyone else finds out he had sex with the princess he's supposed to be protecting, he could find himself protecting the wall, or worse. She could sell him out if she just regretted what she did, or gets into a situation and say that he forced himself upon her. On the other hand, what if he'd said no? Telling your princess no? She might not want to face him every day after that and have him reassigned. She could be so upset with the rejection and want him removed from the Kingsguard entirely. Again, the wall. It was just a bad spot for him to be in, even if it looks like it might end up okay, which it probably won't. Last but not least, Otto Hightower fired. Rhaenyra made sure if she was going down, she was taking him with her for snitching. While true, Otto has overstepped, he's right. What Rhaenyra was doing puts her and the crown in a bad position. It makes Rhaenyra a bad candidate for marriage to the Lords of the Seven Kingdoms. It also worsens her position as heir. These things all help Otto, so it makes sense he would love to tell Viserys the news. Rhaenyra just agrees to marry Lenora Velaryon without argument so long as Otto is thus removed from his position. Viserys does so, sliding that pin off Otto's chest with ease. This might backfire though. Otto is a schemer, and Viserys, under the counsel of his daughter, just fired his wife's father. Yeah, that sounds bad for all involved. Episode 4 was packed with so much. I didn't even mention Mysaria's new spy network or Viserys' body going to ruin. Everyone who guessed he lost those fingers last week were right. We saw it this episode along with many other injuries, mostly coming from the throne. What episode 5, the halfway point in the season, is going to have in store for us, I can't wait to find out. Let me know what you think of episode 4 in the comments below.